broken, by the way, so yeah, it's definitely broke. But man, that was good.
So things went completely sideways, but will you stick by me no matter what? Getting back to Jake Paul's situation. That finishing blow was absolutely brutal. I watched him get his jaw completely shattered, and honestly, that kind of hit would have dropped most heavyweights cold. Gotta give him props for that. You can tell he's devastated about taking the loss, but like I explained to him, he should genuinely feel proud about what he accomplished out there. Then Anthony Joshua went and broke my brother's jaw into pieces. Jake Paul's in serious condition right now after that vicious knockout from AJ. They rushed him to the hospital with his jaw completely destroyed in multiple places. What should have been Jake's biggest career moment turned into an absolute disaster. Fans watched in complete shock as AJ completely exposed him for what he really was. This wasn't just another defeat on his record, this was total humiliation in front of everyone, and now Jake's entire boxing future is hanging by a thread.
Broken jaw, it appears, after fighting Anthony Joshua, right? I made this graphic for you guys. You see it. Got his jaw broken in 2 places.
Care of me forever and ever? Little fucked up. But when you take care of me forever and ever? Little fucked up. But when you take care of me forever.
Jake Paul looked completely destroyed emotionally, breaking down in tears after Anthony Joshua absolutely obliterated him in that ring. This fighter who used to brag about being unstoppable just couldn't handle what AJ brought to the table. He got completely embarrassed and stripped of all his confidence in front of millions watching worldwide. Social media went absolutely crazy afterward, with people ruthlessly mocking him as this internet personality got served a reality check he'll never be able to forget.
Broke Jake Paul's jaw in 2 places, and I'm about to show you the x-ray in a second, but firstly, let's watch the knockout. Right there, straight on the jaw, straight on the money. Even Jake Paul could not believe what happened. Jake Paul's jaw, you can see it is broken in 2 places.
What happened out there proves Jake Paul didn't just lose a fight. The man got completely destroyed physically. Getting his jaw shattered in multiple places was absolutely devastating, and now he's stuck in a hospital bed dealing with the shame of it all. His fans are in complete disbelief. The memes are spreading like wildfire, and this supposed YouTube tough guy is now staring down the brutal reality of what real professional boxing actually looks like. AJ didn't just win that fight, he made his statement loud and clear, and Jake's gonna be remembered for this disaster way more than any of his previous victories.
That Jake is safe, and more so that he showed his heart. I don't know if you guys were looking on Twitter, but until about 20 minutes ago, the #1 trending thing on Twitter wasn't Jake Paul getting knocked out, wasn't Jake Paul, wasn't Anthony Joshua. It literally was the phrase, respect.
Anthony Joshua didn't just land one good shot, he delivered surgical destruction out there, completely shattering Jake's jaw in 2 different places and leaving him unconscious on that canvas. Everything about it screamed AJ's surgical precision and raw power, and those medical scans just confirmed how severe the damage really was. The crowd watching it happen live couldn't even process what they were seeing. This was a masterclass in exposing an internet fighter and showing him his real limitations.
Well, the fight was, where the fight was it? Really one-sided. Jake Paul, yeah, I've got to give him credit really, because he's super fit. He's pretty clever really. Like, make a good,
So Darian, who manages Jake Paul, is desperately trying to spin this nightmare into something positive. Sure, Jake showed heart out there, but we need to call this what it really was. This man got completely humiliated in front of a massive audience. All the social media buzz in the world can't erase 2 broken jawbones, or the fact that AJ proved he was completely outclassed in every way possible. Love him or hate him, the damage to his credibility is absolutely undeniable.
But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best, and I take my hat off to him because, #1, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did.
Allen says it wasn't even close to being competitive. completely lopsided from the opening bell to the final knockout. Jake Paul might have decent conditioning and some intelligence for someone who started on YouTube, but those qualities mean absolutely nothing when you're standing across from a legitimate world-class heavyweight like AJ. All that fitness and ring IQ couldn't hide the fact that he got systematically broken down, and Allen's polite compliments just emphasized how badly Jake performed.
British fight fans, because we've got a chance to make the biggest fight in boxing, but you know, if that is the last we see of him, he had a great career. I doubt it. But, you know, it's always best to come into retirement to make sure someone paid you to come out of retirement. But if that's his lot, much respect to it.
Anthony Joshua gives Jake Paul credit for showing heart and determination, but we need to keep it real here. This guy got absolutely demolished out there. Sure, he managed to get back on his feet after getting dropped, and yeah, he showed some fighting spirit, but this was a complete nightmare from every possible angle. AJ's surgical precision and devastating power made the skill gap impossible to ignore. Jake's courage and best efforts definitely prove his determination, but all that heart couldn't bridge the experience gap. Now fans are wondering if Jake's bravery even matters when the final result is such a devastating career-changing beatdown.
And every time he threw a punch, I like wince, because he's a big man and he's an incredible boxer and he's still in his prime, and he's got a very long reach, and he's got a lot of power in that right hand, and that left hook is terrifying as well, and so I thought it could.
People keep trying to frame this as some kind of epic battle, but honestly, Jake Paul's weaknesses were on full display for everyone to see. All these compliments about having a solid career feel more like damage control than honest analysis. This fight exposed AJ's complete dominance and Jake's vulnerability, making everyone question whether he belongs anywhere near a professional boxing ring. Talk about retirement is starting to surface, not because he wants to quit, but because he took such a brutal beating that no amount of marketing or social media following can erase.
A knockout, everyone was expecting it. It's very difficult to pin someone down when they're not trying to engage. Jake's game plan was a good one, was to use lateral movement and hope to land a big overhand right at some stage to catch AJ off guard. Didn't quite work out, but you got to give Jake credit. Took some big shots there. I think he's got a broken jaw or something, spitting blood at the end of the fight. No, anything's possible. He gave it a go. He dared to be great. Didn't work out for him. Understandably, that's why he was such a massive underdog.
Mario perfectly captures the intimidation factor that AJ brought with him into that ring. Every single punch Jake managed to land felt completely meaningless against a prime heavyweight with that kind of devastating power and incredible reach. The danger was constant, and every exchange put Jake's health and career on the line. Everyone watching knew this wasn't just another loss. This was a brutal education about the difference between manufactured hype and genuine elite talent. Jake's punches barely registered with AJ, plus the constant threat of getting completely destroyed was always there.
He was a tough guy in there. Obviously, he moved a lot and made it difficult for AJ. And AJ's been out of the ring for a while. He's a bit rusty. It took him time to just get hold of him, but
David sees Jake Paul's approach as having some kind of strategic foundation, but it's backfired spectacularly. Banking on movement and hoping for one lucky connection isn't nearly enough when you're facing a seasoned heavyweight champion. Jake absorbed massive punishment and finished the fight with a destroyed jaw, bleeding everywhere, a brutal reminder of his complete inadequacy. David gives him some credit, but even he can't hide the fact that this was an absolute catastrophe. This fight didn't even test AJ. It completely exposed Jake, destroying his reputation and putting his entire future in serious jeopardy.
Even though he's mad famous, as we know,
Eddie points out Jake Paul's surprising toughness and movement throughout the fight, but honestly, this was a total mismatch from start to finish. Jake might have shown some decent footwork and gave maximum effort, but AJ's technical skill, power, and experience completely overwhelmed him. This fight made it crystal clear just how far Jake is from belonging at an elite level. AJ looked a bit rusty, sure, but he still methodically dismantled Jake piece by piece. Even with AJ appearing slightly off his game, the underlying message couldn't be clearer. Jake got completely exposed, and supporters who believed Jake was a legitimate fighter saw the harsh reality that being in shape and mobile isn't enough against a world-class heavyweight. The fight may have lasted several rounds, but the outcome was never in doubt, leaving Jake absolutely devastated. This wasn't close.
I thought Joshua did what he had to do. It took him a while to get it. He had to break him down and chase him down.
Riley emphasizes that AJ's victory was much more than just another win on his record. It was a powerful demonstration of his dominance to a significantly wider audience. Jake Paul, despite all his internet fame and trash talk, became the perfect example that hype doesn't equal elite boxing ability. This particular fight gave AJ the chance to reach fans who don't normally watch boxing, but it also brutally exposed Jake's limitations. Moving around, staying defensive, and taking punishment like a novice heavyweight isn't enough. Skill, timing, and brutal precision ruled that ring. Jake tried his best to survive, but his limitations were visible for everyone to see. Riley's points about AJ reaching new audiences are valid, but the reality is Jake's brand might work great for online content, but in actual combat, he was outclassed in every department.
No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet.
He's got a following, he's got reach, and I think he connected with that audience. Parker perfectly describes the strategy AJ used against Jake Paul. This wasn't accidental. This was calculated destruction. AJ took his time breaking him down, showing patience and boxing intelligence, stalking Jake and landing his power shots for maximum damage. Jake's inexperience was brutally exposed. All that movement couldn't protect him from those constant heavy shots. Parker makes it clear that even a tough, determined opponent like Jake has no answer for elite power and tactical brilliance. What everyone hyped as a spectacle was actually a clinical demonstration of boxing fundamentals: timing, distance control, and relentless pressure. To casual fans, it might have looked entertaining, but experts saw Jake's flaws magnified in every exchange. His survival instincts only delayed what was inevitable, but AJ's superiority was never questionable. Parker's analysis confirms that Jake's marketing can't replace real skill in the heavyweight division.
But I think Jake fought a very, how do I survive long enough to land a right hand type of fight, and it made it a little difficult for AJ to get his timing. No excuses. AJ didn't look great. I'll be honest. He didn't look great. Didn't look like, an AJ we thought we were going to get, the marauder, the guy that was going to come forward and bang out Jake in one round.
Logan Paul tries to frame Jake's performance as a display of incredible heart, but let's not get carried away here. Sure, surviving against AJ and staying on your feet shows some toughness, but heart doesn't erase the obvious embarrassment of getting dominated and seriously injured. Logan's praise focuses on the theatrics rather than the reality. Jake took multiple shots of crushing power, damaging his body and shattering his jaw in the process. Logan's narrative is less about courage and more about his brother's lack of preparation for elite competition. Internet fame and fancy footwork can't compensate for missing high-level boxing fundamentals. While Logan praises his brother's determination, it highlights the gap between social media hype and professional skill. Jake might have stayed upright, but the ring tells the real story. AJ's dominance was clear for everyone who understands heavyweight boxing. Fans are left wondering if Jake's confidence is worth the punishment he endured. The whole approach shows that Jake Paul's strategy was built around basic survival. He was trying to extend the fight, hoping to land something significant, but that approach only highlighted his deficiencies. AJ's timing was somewhat irregular, but the fight still showed the enormous gap in skill, power, and experience. Jake's defensive approach looked impressive on social media, but in professional boxing, it wasn't nearly enough. He wasn't outboxing AJ, he was postponing inevitable damage. Wade's analysis recognizes AJ wasn't at peak performance, but even a slightly off AJ dominated Jake completely. Fans expecting a ruthless destroyer were surprised by how long the fight lasted, but that duration showed Jake absorbing damage more than competing effectively. This fight really confirmed the brutal reality. Hype and heart can't replace elite training and experience. Jake's attempts to land that big right hand were unsuccessful, proving that in real boxing, he's still not in AJ's league. With Jake Paul's brutal knockout and hospital visit, the boxing world is still processing what happened. 2 broken jaw locations, a humbling defeat, and the cold reality of stepping in with a genuine heavyweight champion. Jake learned the painful lesson that manufactured hype can't match elite ability. Fans are now debating whether his courage was inspiring or just plain foolish. But one thing is absolutely certain. Anthony Joshua's surge was undeniable. What do you think? Was Jake's performance courageous, or was this just a brutal mismatch waiting to happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.